Hey everyone, today, well, last night we just picked up a new game, and this is going to go in the basement at some point. It's dirty, it doesn't work, but that's how I like to get them. And this was, and I'm going to call it now, the deal of the year. Now I know it's only January or so when I'm filming this, but it is the deal of the year and pretty darn close to deal of my collecting days so far. I'm not going to quite tell you how much I paid. Maybe I will at the end, but we'll see. Here it is. We'll go around it. It's in nice shape on the exterior. We're going to open it up. It is dusty and dirty, so we'll open it up, but it's not working. But hopefully we can get it up and going. So let's go ahead and we'll open this up and we will take a look here at the Bally game show. And let's take a look here. Here it is. Bally game show. Now, yes, it is dirty, but through the dust and dirt, I think this might actually be a pretty clean game. But we'll have to open it up and take a look. But at first glance, this does seem like it's in pretty decent shape here. Here's the back glass, which honestly looks like it is in amazing shape. I mean, we can see ourselves in it, right? There we are. Well, let's go ahead and we're going to clean up the glass so we can at least see through, and we'll go from there before we run out of daylight. So let's go ahead. We'll try to clean up the glass and let us see it through it. I think the owner told me they've had this in their possession for the last 20 years or so. Bought it for their kids, and then kids grew up, stopped working, and here we are today. So let's start wiping. Ugh, you feel it. That is a lot of dirt. Look at that. I can even see a fingerprint on the inside from a long time ago. All right, there's one rag. We'll do it again. So 20 years they had it for. That's pretty amazing. They got it from like a local place that would sell to, private homes and stuff like that. And I promised that we would give this a good home. His kids played it. We'll let my kids play it. I know what you guys are thinking. But Tim, it's just Bally's game show. It's not an expensive pen. It's not like you scored a Twilight Zone or Addams Family or something. Yeah, I know. But it was an amazing deal that really couldn't be passed up and was worth driving through snow on the way home for. Getting there. A little bit better. But I think it's just now in the corners. There we go. We had to actually, when I got there, we had to drill out the lock up here because they took it from their game room down to the main level, and they had no keys. So this lock here, I had to drill out on site to get the back glass open. And I can't imagine carrying a pinball machine with the head up. That is not a fun trip that I would ever want to do. It is much easier to move with the head down, but they managed it with probably not a hand truck is my guess. But now let's take a look inside. So, haven't pulled the glass off, and I can tell you, this thing is pretty clean. I can see some Mylar bubbling, but I don't think that's that big a deal. A little bit of wear and dirt, but overall, a good clean on the playfield. I don't see a bunch of wear either, really. The playfield's in nice shape. Dirty, but well, let's see. Probably put some new rubbers on. It's got black rubbers on there. But yeah, look at that. Hopefully this is the deal of my life. Well, maybe not the deal of my life. I would like more deals in my my life. But we will go ahead and I think the next point what we'll do is we're losing sunlight fast, but we'll pull it in and start looking at it with the glass off and go through it. And then we'll try to either, if we got a nice warm day, we'll power it up, because I'm not going to do this stuff while it's too cold outside. As you can tell, there's snow on the ground. Or if I do, I'll have to put the heat on in the garage and warm it up a little bit, get the ambient temperature up so things aren't frozen when we turn everything on, because you know we break more things when we do that. But all right, let's go ahead. We're going to move it back inside for the evening, and we'll come back the next time. And of course, I'll be like pretending like this never ended, right? Hey everyone, so we've gone ahead and put the Bally game show in the basement. Here it is, it's in the basement. I've kind of got it skewed off the side because I haven't looked at anything yet. I took out Silver Strike Bowling and broke the Super Dolly 2000. I'll show you some pictures of that here. It should be like poof. But it hit an ice block in the snowbank that I thought it was just snow, not ice, and it just ripped off one wheel because that game is so heavy. But here it is. Here is the game show. Before I've turned it on, I've done nothing with it. We'll turn it on and see what it does. So it's plugged in. Will it do anything? I don't know. Is it gonna blow up? Nothing. We got lights and nothing else. Light in the back and that's it. All right, we'll take a look after that. Maybe it's something dumb, like a fuse. So we've gone ahead, we powered it up, and as you could remember, we only had some lights upon the back glass, and nothing else is doing anything. So upon further examination, let me slide this out of the way here. There we go. Sliders are great. I did find that we had a couple fuses that were bad. So let me see if I can point those out quickly here. So we had F8, I believe, and F4 on this board were bad. And then we also had one of the fuses down here that runs the GI was actually just cracked and broken in pieces. So after replacing that, the GI came on for the playfield, but it was still not doing anything. So at that point, and as you can see, the power supply unit is missing. I tested the voltage on the power supply, and we had no 5 volts. And so now what we're going to do is we'll rebuild that power supply. Well, we'll do new caps, and we'll do a new Q5 transistor, and hopefully it helps. And we also pulled the batteries out, which these batteries here are from 2004. So, and this seems to add up as far as, this guy said he had it for about 20 years, and you figure that based on, they put the date on batteries a few years out, so that adds up. And luckily, there is nothing here as far as battery acid damage on these terminals go, which is awesome because this one here is leaking. The rest of them, they're not in great shape, but they're not leaking yet, so that is good. But now we're going to go ahead and we'll take a look at the cap kit, and we'll put on those new caps, the Q5, keep our fingers crossed, and maybe we'll get some life. Maybe. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm doing when it comes to pinball machines. I'm not going to lie. So we just want to see if that works. And maybe we'll blow a fuse. Maybe we'll lead on to something else, but who knows? So here's the power supply unit for it. I did actually try replacing the Q5 transistor there. This is the one that was there, and the one I replaced it with one from another different Williams power supply that was used in some of the arcades. So it didn't fix it. It was nice thinking that it did, but it didn't. But that's okay. We're going to replace it with a new one that we know is good, and then we're going to replace the capacitors here. I picked up a cap kit from arcade parts and repair here. Let's see, there it is. So we'll go ahead and we'll put that in. I did also buy a bridge rectifier just in case, and I think I did pick up some other transistors. But we'll try that. We'll try a cap kit. Remember, they always say could just be a cap kit. And a fuse. Well, we've already done 3 fuses, and these fuses all tested fine out of circuit. So let's go ahead and start the process. All right, so we've got our parts out. I've got my new transistor out here. So we can replace the one that was in there, 2N6059. I think 2N6057 is the original that was in there. This was a 5.6 that actually, 5.7 I think was for the schematics. So that's not going to focus. Come on, man. Focus. There you go. So 5.6 this is the original one that was in there that I tried replacing. And that, I mean, they obviously look okay. And we can put in a focus, yes, there you go. A 5.9. 2N6059 is a direct replacement for it, just a little bit higher rated. So now we're going to go ahead and we'll kind of start replacing things. I got my cap kit here. Insulators I've already pulled out. They're kind of sitting in the back over there. And I'll probably check values too, just so I can compare and be like, oh, wait, that's what that is. But, all right, we'll go ahead and get started. So I've got my 2 transistors here, and I've got my multimeter on diode test. This is the old one that was originally in there, and this is my new one. And I'm just going to check values in between. I always have to look up the best way to test these. So we're just going to go, and we'll see what happens when we go. So we get black to red over the pegs here. 0.7. We'll do the other one. So of course I can't hold it still, can I? Yeah, about the same, 0.75. Then we'll flip them. And maybe not being good at testing things off the top of my head, so that's 1.78. And this is 2.68. So maybe that's higher. Those values are about a volt off, volt different. So maybe that's no good. And then I think the shell of this is like the base. So I don't remember which way to do this. So we'll go this way, see what happens. Open, 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 and open. Flip it. Okay, about 0.7. 0.5, so a little bit different. We'll do the right peg. It's hard to. 1.6 there, and then this one was also about 0.6. Okay. So maybe there is one difference. That one reading was 1 volt higher there, and I don't know if that's a good accurate reading or not, but that's one way to test things. So we'll move that one off to the side, and then we're going to go ahead and start doing some other things. So now we're going to go ahead, and I've already pre-loosened these two nuts here, so we'll take those off. And it is still soldered in the back. And there's a washer there that we want to get off. I'll do the other one. And then we can actually put this one back in the other power supply, because this is probably fine. And then we do need to desolder it from the back. So we'll go ahead and we'll do that. And let's see, I got my soldering iron here. All right. Hopefully this just falls right out, because I did just replace it with the other one, but it didn't fix what I wanted it to fix, so that's why we're going to do a cap kit as well. All right. Make sure that doesn't fall. All right. So there it is. There's the one we're going to take out. There is an insulator there that we're going to replace. There we go. I actually had to steal that off the other one. I'm lucky I didn't blow a fuse. Because if they're bad, so basically what happens if you don't have that insulator there, you're going to blow a fuse every single time because it's grounding out. So we'll take that out. There's the one. So we'll put that off to the side. That can go back in the other power supply. If I can get this off. Maybe. I don't want to rip it. There we go. All right, we'll go ahead and put the new one on. Put our new insulator on. Now if you use those plastic insulators, you do need to put some thermal paste. These ones you should be good to go. And it just goes on like that. And push that down. Go ahead and we'll put our new transistor in. Now we're replacing it with a 2N 6059. That's what this one is, and that's the higher rated one. And it goes this way. If you want to watch your orientation, I hate when they print these things with a different orientation, but there is an orientation to them, because if you don't do it, the holes won't line up, and you can force it sometimes. So there we go. That is the new one there. You need to put something in there to hold it in place. But there we go. So we'll go ahead and solder that in. We'll hold that there. Man, you know the one time you have things fall out? Let's see if we can just, let's see if there's a little bit of solder on there. Maybe there's just enough solder here to like hold it in place. Nope. Maybe hold it. Nope. Man. All right. We can do this. Let's see. Can I do it this way? This is when I need those. I need a, what is it called? A pan of ice? I need one of those. Something else to hold things. I just need to like tack it in. And then we'll go ahead and we'll put the other one in. All right. Whew. Oh, you know what? Ah, Tim, you're an idiot. I should have just screwed it in. Duh. Come on. I know I started. I have some. We got a little bit of whiskey here, but we just started. Oh my goodness. Hold on, Tim. Let's not be an idiot. Let's just drop that back down because we want a nice solid connection. There we go. Didn't even need to do anything. All right. Now we're going to bolt it in. That's what we're supposed to do. Ay, ay, ay. I had to clean the hole out. I didn't do that. That made it difficult for this transistor to go in. Because I don't want to pop it through. So now we'll go ahead and we'll put these. Now we'll do this the right way. Hey. I got some. Second, please. Right. That's better. Now we can solder it in like we should have the first time. All right. There we go. That's done. Now we'll open up the cap kit. All right, so here's the cap kit. Let's open up and we'll see what's inside here. A transistor. These were given. All right. Don't make sure I lose any of them. This one rolls away. All right. So we've got 1, 2, 3 caps. And now I was getting voltage. It was like 1 volt, and then it would slowly climb to like 1.5 volts. So I was talking to somebody. He said, yeah, check, could be a cap kit. So we'll try that. We'll start there. Done the voltage regulator. I think, well, that's like a voltage regulator, that transistor, but I think the IC is as well. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3 axial caps, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 other capacitors here. And we got a little sticker that we'll leave off to the side. Zip tie, put that off to the side. That's going to go for that big cap there. And then we have some instructions. All right, yes. Here we go. I know you can't read this, and I'm not going to read this to you, so I'm going to stop and I'm going to read this, and I'll see if there's anything important. We'll double check. All right. So they also gave us a map, power supply map. Tells us all the locations, everything. It even has our 2N6059 marked on there as well. So we're now going to go ahead and we'll put this off to the side, and we'll start taking them out one capacitor at a time. So you can leave that standing up there in the background. All right. And then we have our values here that we're going to, so they put the values here. They tell us all the locations and the values on this piece of paper. So we'll put that somewhere as well. And I think we're just going to start here. Let's see. You know what? I think I'm just going to go in order. So this says that we're going to start at C1. Let's see if we can. We'll start here at C1. So we'll go to C1 and then just work our way across until we get to the very end. Sounds like a good plan, right? Right. Shut up, Tim, and finish it. Could have been done by now. All right. Here's C1. Here's C3. Here is C9. And we've got C7 and C8. And then we have over here, see this big one is C10. And then we have C12 right there. And I think that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, 7 caps. That's it. All right. C1 and C3, and these are both, I'm just checking values before I pull them out. They're both 150 microfarads, 160 volts. And now voltage can be higher, but microfarads needs to be generally about the same. And the other thing I do want to show you here, because these are axial caps, so we want to make sure that we follow the orientation of axial caps. I know these look like little O's here on these arrows, but that's actually a negative sign, and that's pointing over to this lead here, which is the negative side of the capacitor. Whereas you see here, this is negative and it's pointing the other way. And that makes sense because there's a positive down here, so negative would be on the opposite side. And that is generally how those axial caps are marked. So let's go ahead and we'll start taking it apart. So I'll do both of these at the same time. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 things I'm going to desolder. All right. Should get a desoldering station. I go through times to bang things around. I go through times where I do like no soldering, and then I do tons of soldering. There goes the paper. And that heatsink makes things a little bit rocky. All right, let's see if they come out. Everything comes out like they should. Here are the two. That one is coming out for sure. May need to do that other one. May need to persuade those the rest of the way. Oh, that came out. You don't want to force them out, because if you force them out, what can happen is you can tear solder pads off, and nobody wants to do that, because then you end up having to fix that as well. Usually just a little bit of solder is enough to get it to pop out. There we go. Dirty. Those dirty caps. They don't look like they're leaking or anything. They're just old and dirty. I'll put that off to the side. Put the other one off to the side. This one also doesn't look like it's in bad shape. I'm going to guess that, let's see, we have 1, 2, and we'll double check our values here. Except my paper fell on the floor. And we're hitting things. All right, C1. And let's see what we have here. We have 150 microfarads, 250 volts is the new one. Let's see. There we go. And we have the negative sign pointing this way, so this is our negative lead. And we have another one too, which is also the same thing, 150 microfarads, 250 volts with the negative pointing to the right as we're reading it. And those, I don't know, sometimes it's hard to, when I remember when I first started doing this, it's like, what's that mean? But that's our negative. It looks like a little circle, but they say sometimes it can be positive marked, but not necessarily the case. So we'll go ahead and put these in, and we'll solder them in. So let's see, negative is up at this point, so we'll do that. This one's got a dent in it. I don't know how that happened. There we go. Make sure, yep, negative. And I like to check here so you can see negative was pointing up that way. That's what we want. Go ahead and bend our leads in the back so it doesn't fall out. And let's see, we'll do this one as well. Negative is now down at the bottom. There we go. Make sure these are both kind of in the same location here. All right. Now they don't fall out and we solder them in. So just a reminder, when you do this, you heat the part and the pad at the same time. And if you're using a cheap soldering iron like I am, sometimes you have to count in your head to like 2 or 3 before you start putting any solder, just to make sure that there's enough heat. And then you kind of let the solder flow into where you need it to go. All right. Great, 2 of them done. I'm gonna double check these and I might snip these leads, but we'll move them out of the way for now. I will snip them later. I like to do that all at the end. All right, next up, C7 on our list. So C7 is this little guy right down here, next to the bridge rectifier. So that's C7 right there. We're gonna go ahead and kind of keep where that mark is marked. Wish they were marked on the back. They're not. So C7 is 100 microfarads, 50 volts. The next one is actually less, so we're gonna do one at a time. The other thing, let's see, I should be checking, making sure that, yep, all right, the cap is in the correct direction. Sometimes, I think it's like, what is it? There's a cap out there on a monitor, is it like the G07? That is just like screened backward, or maybe it's a Wells Gardner. Right. Need to clear off my workbench. I need more room. Something's burning. What's burning? Still smells like, yeah, smells something burning. I can't figure out what it is though. Oh, you know what it is? I think it's my sponge. There we go. All right, we'll check the value on this before we put it back in. This one is hard to see. 100 microfarads, 25 volts. Oh, that's right. It is my 100 microfarads, 50 volts. Whoops. Where did I put my bad cap? Oh, they're over here. Let's see, is this it? Nope. Is this it? Yep. Here we go. That's the next one we're going to put in. And just a reminder, even on these caps here, let's see if we can show you this way. These caps here, remember, this stripe means negative, and the leads are also shorter on the negative side, whereas they're longer on the positive side. So you just want to make sure that when you put a capacitor in, you put it in the correct direction, because that would be the pop a cap. The magic smoke will come out. Things won't work. You might break something else at the same time. So okay, we've got our there. Oop, gotta stop. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll put the rest of the caps in. I just put the C7 in. We just want to make sure that it is in the correct way, and that little stripe is off to the right, and the long lead went in on the positive side. So we're just going to go ahead and do the rest of these caps, and we'll come back and do these big ones. So we've done all the capacitors except for this big guy here that we're going to take out. And I just went through and I checked to make sure all my orientations are correct. So I've got negative going that way, negative going this way. I checked all my stripes to make sure that they're good. And before, I like to do that before I go through and I trim all my leads here on the backs. And then I just come in and I snip them all off. And you guys have done cat kits before, and I need new shears here. They're no good. My Radio Shack shears have decided, Jesus, that it's just time to hit the hay. Is this magnetic? Oh, you know what it is? This must have been next to a magnet. These shears are magnetic, and they shouldn't be, but it's actually kind of nice because these little pieces aren't going flying. Let's see, next mistake of the day. That was a dumb one. Just didn't have my mic on. Maybe you heard me. I'll have to find out when I edit this thing. All right. We are free of all those little pieces. Okay, that's good. Now we have to go through and we're going to remove this big guy. We'll need to snip that, but I'm going to desolder it first, I think. So let's go ahead and desolder it. And it's got, let's see, these long leads here, and they are pretty far apart. There's two, okay. So there's two here, and it is the outer one is the one we're going to desolder, which makes sense because that's the same plane. That would be silly if they did that. All right. We're tangled up. There we go. Those look pretty clean, at least from here. And then we have to snip our zip tie here. That's a nice ancient zip tie. So we'll go ahead and we'll cut that off. And then we'll make sure we watch our orientation here. We got negative. I put it right there. All right, negative pointing that way. Positive is right there. Just go ahead and we'll pull that out of the way. Just like that, it comes out nice and easy. Those ones are 18,000 microfarads, big guy. And here is our new one. So 18,000, we've got negative pointing. So I want to make sure that negative is pointing over here. And you can put, so the reason they did these, so you can put two different types of capacitors in here. You could put a radial cap, or you could put an axial cap. And we're putting in an axial cap. But that's why there's two of those here. So this is the positive for the radial. This is the positive for the axial cap that we are using. We'll make sure negative is pointing the same direction. So that way. And we'll put this one in right there. And we'll straighten this out and solder it in place. I like to double check. As you can see, or not. There it is. It is pointing. It's pointing the correct way. There we go. Pointing the correct way. We'll center it best we can. It's amazing how much smaller capacitors have gotten, but still have the maintain some sort of the original form factor here. So we're just going to go ahead and we'll bend our leads. There we go. Solder that in place, put our zip tie in. Maybe I'll put the zip tie in now. I want that thing nice and secure. That's funny, the holes. It's going to be a little, we'll slide this down a little bit. Just like that. We'll get more of that zip tie on it. There we go. I put this in backwards again. I always do that. All right, try it again. There we go. We'll double check our orientation one last time before we cinch that down, and then we are good. All right, that's in place. Now we'll zip tie that. Oh, wait, no, we zip tie, not zip tie, you know what I mean. Solder it. All right, there we go. Zooming in. And then I think we're done. I think we get to test it out. We'll double check our work, but will it work? I don't know. I hope it does. We should be good. That is sturdy. We'll trim everything, and then we'll go fire it up, right? That's the idea. So there we go. Cap kit done. Pretty quick to do, and new transistor there. Let's hope it fixes it. If not, well, it's closer. More things we can rule out, right? All right. We are good to go, I hope. Let's give it a whirl. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to plug everything back in. I just finished putting the board back in, so let me see if I can show you where it is in case you're not sure. I can remember we had that hole right in here, and this is the power supply we've been working on. So I've got these cables here to plug in. So we're going to go ahead and we'll plug everything in. Make sure our pins line up. And there we go. There's the last one. Up there in the dark. All right, and now we try it and see what happens here. I don't know what's going to happen, but let's see. I kind of want to place this so we can charge the battery. Let me get another battery. And we're back with a new battery. We'll have a quick sip. We'll wish ourselves luck. And, you know it's not, if it does work, something's going to be wrong. But I'm hoping we get more than GI lights. Remember, we had nothing last time. So let me see if I can kind of tell you where to look when I turn this thing on. So there are some LEDs in here that you're going to want to watch. Maybe they'll light up if the board has 5 volts. There's no way to adjust the 5 volts on that power supply as far as I can tell. So it's either going to work or it's not. And then maybe we'll get something on the displays here. So I'm going to try to, we might not see that at the same time, but maybe you will. Let's see. But, oh, all right, let's turn it on, see what it does. Maybe it'll blow up. Hey, we got some lights. And it says, adjust failure. That's because the batteries are out. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I gotta remember how to get past the adjust failure. Hold on. This is very exciting. Adjust failure. All right, hold on. So here we go. We have lights. They're blinking. Diagnostics is blinking because it probably says adjust failure. I do need to put some batteries in it. We'll get rid of that or traditional battery at some point, but not right now. I'm not going to put those 2004 batteries in either. Those old batteries down there from 2004. Well, they expired in 2004. That means they are older than that. They're older than 2004. All right. I'm going to close this door, and we'll come back. I'm going to put everything back together. All right, so we just turned the game on, put the back glass back in. It says adjust failure on it. So I'm going to show you what it does when we turn it on. It says adjust failure, and that is because we took out those old batteries. And I know that it's going to say this because when I've replaced the batteries on my high speed behind me, it does the same thing. So that is nice to know that that is how, you know, they're similar in that sense. You know, it is a Bally game, but for all intents and purposes, it's a Williams System 11, 11C. So how do we get out of this? So if you have this happen and your batteries have been replaced, we have to open up the coin door. And let's see. Oh, that is unlocked. Oop. So we'll open up the coin door down here. And we need to go ahead and we need to kind of cycle through using these buttons here. And once we do that, it should go out of adjust failure. So I'm going to push one of these buttons here. So I'll just push that one on the left that you were looking at. And it goes back to factory settings. And, we hit, I think, what do we hit? The start button? Nope, hit that. All right, game show, 2003, LA3, you know, some sort of identification there, and then start. No, hold down something. Oh, I'm holding down. So I'm holding down this button, and it is counting through really fast. It gets to 70, and then we're good. Goes back to credits, and it's blinking. We have a couple bulbs out, but otherwise not bad, right? Not bad. This is very exciting. Oh, look, there's my name, but that's definitely not my score. Oh, that's neat. Little TV, big TV. Here's a cruise, a truck. Oh, that's funny. A car. All right. So, well, let's credit it up. So we'll just go ahead and we'll hit. All right. So let's put those credits in. We'll put we'll put a couple more in. This is set to take 50 cents. All right, and we got a bunch of credits in there now, so we'll go ahead and we'll close the coin door. And let's see if we can set the camera up so we can play a game, if it works. We don't know what it's going to do, actually. So let's see how this angle works here. We'll start a game, see what works and doesn't work. Hopefully you can kind of see the scores there and kind of the play field. And there we go. All right. It's doing noises. All right, let's see if things work. Pop bumper is working. The flipper is working. All right. Left flipper is a little weak, but we can rebuild that. Those are working. All right. Yeah, that should be a little bit stronger, but that's not bad. There we go. Look at that. Guys, it's working. And there's a bell. All right. I've got $1,000 in my account. All right. I made it up the ramp. Oh no, not down the middle. Ball 3, okay. It's the first time we've played this, so. Well, not this first time we've played this game. My friend's got one, I like it. Uh-oh, it's stuck. There we go. One of the rollovers is a little sticky back there. We can adjust that. That's not a big deal. I mean, honestly, this is great. So yeah, we just need to do some like general maintenance stuff because this probably has had nothing done in 20 years. All right, up the ramp, nice solid. Woo, color TV and a trip. Oh, a new truck to go pick up more arcade games with, and a new car. What does that mean, the showcase bonanza? What, another ball? All right, here we go. Oh, we got a multi-ball. 2-ball multi-ball, here you go. Oh, well, multi-balls are always short-lived. Oh, short-lived multi-ball. Did I get a match? Oh, that's cool. It's like it's like the Wheel of Fortune. Or, you know, the Price is Right wheel. All right. There we go. It is working. How about that? It was a bad power supply. Can you believe it? All that for a bad power supply. This is still the score of the year. Maybe the decade for me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to top this. I find deals every now and then, but I don't know. I don't know if I can tell you. Some of my friends know, but I'm gonna leave it as a mystery for now. But let's put it this way: it was too good of a deal to refuse, and I have to thank the guy who held his honor in his pricing and did not let a bidding war happen. So I thank that guy tremendously for letting that happen. And you know, if this guy does ever come across it, hey man, this is a great game, and I'm glad to have it. The kids are gonna love it, and we got it fixed by fixing the power supply. So thanks again for watching. We'll come back and we'll do some more rebuilds of things on this pinball machine. But for now, thanks again for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know, and hopefully there will be more of this soon. And one last thing, because I didn't want to leave these people out. Couldn't have done it out without some help from some good friends. I want to give a big thanks to Mike and Heath of Louisville Pinball for helping me while we did this on one of those arcade Thursday Zoom calls that we do with the Delusionals Roundtable. So big thanks for having us work on that together in this time of, you know, COVID, where people aren't really getting together. So that was fun to work on this, and we got to test a lot of different things while we were working on it. So big thanks to those guys, Mike and Heath. Mike for reading those schematics, and Heath for directing me on where to go and what to look at while we took this whole big game show thing apart and tested different things to make sure, you know, to check and see why all those fuses were blown. Because if you recall, we did blow 3 fuses. Well, we had found 3 blown fuses before we even got a chance to turn this thing on. So there we go. Thanks a lot, guys. And it's good to have those friends in places with lots of knowledge.